change just one of those, that means if there's 5 people in the band, you've changed 20% of the possibilities. You've lost what this guy can do, but you gain what the new guy can do. So everything is affected by the people you are playing with. It's not so much with guitarists, but it's definitely with bass players and drummers. It's a massive difference. With Roger in Deep Purple, Roger is, to use the word simple bass player isn't right. He's a very, very fundamental bass player, and he plays the notes and the feels which are really important. He leaves lots of spaces for me to do other stuff. Because you only have 100%. You know, there is no such thing as 101%. Once it's full, you know. With Glenn Hughes, Glenn was more busy, he played more notes. That leaves less room. So where, with Roger and I, Roger probably takes 30% of the room and I take 70% of the room. With Glenn took at least 50, so I only get 50. So you have to play differently. You cannot play so many things, because he's filling in some of the places that you would have done, you know. So it does change, but with the rhythm section more drastically than with the top end instruments like keyboards and guitars. Thanks. Please.
You played pearl drums for long years.
Played what?
You played pearl drums for the last years.
Well, I was connected to Ludwig from the moment I could afford a Ludwig drum kit, and I was 16. I couldn't afford it really. I had to pay for it every weekend. And then when Purple came along, and I managed to become an endorser for Ludwig, I went to the factory in Chicago and had a wonderful time, and I got to know Bill Ludwig III. Not as a close friend, because you don't, you know, but I met him for the first time. And he was the grandson of the original William F. Ludwig, who started the drum company in 1920 something. And they built me fantastic drums in the early 70s. And I had no desire to change. But then the Ludwig family sold the company. They sold it to a very large musical company. And the very next kit they sent me, because they used to change them every 2 years, not because the drums was anything wrong with it, but you know, when they go around the world 2 or 3 times, you know, baggage handlers drop them out of airplanes and things, they tend to be not quite as good as when you got them. So they sent me the new drums, and they were not very good. In fact, they were terrible. They were not round, the metal was going to rust already. Okay, for me, I don't care. I don't buy them, they give them to me. But if some kid wanted to be me and wanted to get that drum kit, which I knew was very expensive, then I didn't feel good about him wasting all that money on something I knew was a terrible, terrible instrument. So I changed. I was in the fortunate position of being able to go to any company I wanted and make a deal. When you get to the top end of any instrument, it's not a lot of difference. And in drums, very little difference at all. So I went for the ones I liked the look of the most. You know, I knew the shells were good, I knew the sound of the drums would be exactly what I needed. So I thought, well, I think these are the prettiest ones, so I'll go for these. So I chose the prettiest drums I could get. But after that, I found that the people I was dealing with at Pearl were just so much help to me. I'll tell you a lovely story. We were in Australia, we were doing a tour, and we only had the one drum kit. And they were loading the drums out of a concert in Sydney, which is right over on the east coast of Australia. And the next show was in Perth on the west coast, and that's like 4,000 kilometers. It's a long way you have to fly, you can't do anything else. And one of the little tom-tom, this little 10-inch tom, this one, fell off, and this guy drove over it with a truck. Fell off. Two-dimensional tom-tom, you know. You cannot play it, you can do nothing, you can burn it. Again, like the violin, you can do something. So we told Pearl, look, it's not really important, but if you could get a new drum to us before the end of the tour, it would be good. I said, oh, let's see what we can do. So we had to fly off to Perth. Overnight, they found another 10-inch drum in Australia. It wasn't the same colour, but It was close. They found a charter company who was actually going from, I mean, I don't mean a big plane, I mean a little private jet, was going from Sydney to Perth. And they paid them to put this little tiny drum on the jet, and they flew it 4,000 kilometers for me, so I had it for the next shot. Now that's a company I want to stay with. You know, that's good service. You see all this stuff here, it's really nice, but really you don't need all this stuff. I have all this stuff because if I miss one drum, I'll hit another one, you know, it's okay. So rather than do something else there, maybe I'll just bring a snare drum out the front here and just fiddle around with the snare drum for you before we call this around. Okay, so you can see what's going on. Okay, yeah. Thank you, my man. So I have great fun with this thing. The snare drum is the focal point of your drum kit. And if you just have this, you can make great music, and you can basically go through all the ideas that you can create, you can do with this thing. I have great fun with this, starting out pretending I'm in the army and ending up in a jazz band. I'll show you what I mean. You have this. It's nice to have those, but you don't need it. You just need this. Anyway, look, thanks for coming. Hope you've enjoyed it. And if we see you later for the Musicat with the band, that'd be great. I'll be available to sign stuff and do what I can for you. But I do thank you for coming, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Okay?